Hi there, welcome to the Gem Blenders YouTube channel. My name is Steve, and Gem Blenders is a game that I designed and illustrated and that I've been working on for about the last year and a half. In this video, I want to talk about the process of creating Gem Blenders and also what I have left in order to get it on Kickstarter. So way back in the summer of 2014, I was working at this tech camp called Imagination Computer Camps. I was a counselor there, and I remember one night I was getting ready for bed. I was in bed, about ready to go to sleep, and all these ideas started to come to me, and I started writing them down in the Notes app on my iPhone. I still have this note today. It's still titled Gem Blenders Untouched. And it's really cool to look back at this because these ideas that were coming to me are the foundation for the lore of Gem Blenders. And while a lot of things have changed since writing that note, the core idea of what Gem Blenders is was on my mind since the summer of 2014. Fast forward about 4 years, once I graduated from school, I found myself with some time on my hands. And I started to expand on the world of Gem Blenders. And it was really nice to have some time to really think about it and figure out how the world would kind of work. The first thing I started off with was the website, actually. I'd always been inspired by early HTML, GeoCities, and kind of like that early internet vibe. And I wanted to make a world that kind of had that theme to it. I love that feeling of finding a website that feels like it's lost in the dark corner of the web. It's kind of broken feeling, kind of old feeling, and kind of confusing overall. And I wanted that feeling to be very present on the Gem Blenders website. And I started with that gem page. To really capture what the core of Gem Blenders was. A couple months later, there was a thunderstorm, the electricity went out, and I was kind of bored, and I started to think about the mechanics of Gem Blenders. Then a whole bunch of ideas started to rush to me, and I began to put together what would become the foundation for gameplay. That is the positions, having the front line attack your opponent's front line, effects, and back position hero. All these ideas really came together quickly, and they felt really natural, and that was something that I was really excited about. I made a quick prototype of the game, and then a couple days later I went over to my friend Eric's house and we gave it a first playthrough. Definitely, given I didn't know how the stats were worked, how balancing was going to work, the playthrough was pretty rough, but we could definitely tell there was some promise there. I did go to art school, but I do not claim to be a great illustrator by any means, but I was confident that I could come up with an art style that would fit with the world of Gem Blenders, fit with that early internet theme that I wanted. The first drawing I did was this one of an angel. I ended up scrapping it because it was my first drawing, but it did give me an idea of what I wanted the world of Gem Blenders to look like. I liked the idea of having a simple hand-drawn line drawing, black and white on top of these colored backgrounds. I thought it was an interesting style that was true to myself, but that was also very different from any other card games that I had seen, especially one that would play like a living card game like Gem Blenders. As I started to create more of them, I realized that there was a lot of room to explore with these types of drawings, and it's really exciting because I've made 100 blends now, 50 heroes, and I can tell there's a lot of room to explore, and I'm excited to keep going at it and making more. As I started to get more and more comfortable with the art style, I started to knock out lots of cards. I would create groupings of cards that had some sort of synergy together. And then my friend Eric, huge shout out to Eric. He was the best first game tester I could have asked for, and we were really consistently going at it for months while I was at home. I would make cards every week, we'd test them out, kind of get a feel for balancing, alter them a little bit, and really figure out how things would kind of fit together. And Eric was super instrumental in that. Taking on the task of building a trading card game, a living card game, it's a pretty difficult task because there's so many different card combinations and balancing issues that can occur, and so many that are it's impossible to test every combination. So you really have to have a good feel for the game in order to tell what's overpowered, what's not overpowered, and as we played more and more, we got better and better at it. So that level of game testing went on for a couple of months as I was designing more and more cards and adding to the game. And then I broke my foot, and that gave me a lot of time to really focus on designing cards because I was stuck at home for about 2.5 months. But that ended up being very good for Gem Blenders because I was able to dedicate a lot of time to it. So definitely, breaking your foot is never fun, but I look back on that time fairly fondly because it helped me create this game that I really love. After this about 5-6 month period, it became apparent that Gem Blenders was a game that could be real. I had been playing with a couple of friends at this point, and we really enjoyed how the mechanics all functioned together, and it could see that there was a future for the game moving forward. And this was actually the first time that I thought about Kickstarter. I'd never seen myself as a project creator. I didn't go into creating Gem Blenders with the intention of making it for Kickstarter. I just had this passion for designing card games, and I just went into it kind of blind. I didn't even realize how huge the Kickstarter community is, to be honest. I looked at a bunch of strong projects, stuff that I could model gem blenders after, and started to get ideas for how to move forward with the project. And that was an eye-opening experience because it really started to motivate me to figure out how to build the community, how to expand the game. And as I moved to New York City, that was a huge push for me. Once I moved to New York City, a lot of the beta version of the game was complete at that time. There's always a lot of balancing and stuff being changed even to this day. But at that point I had a good firm grasp on how the game would be playing out. So at that point it became all about playtesting. So I started to look into how to expose the game to different communities in New York. Once winter hit, I started to go to meetup groups. I started to go to the NYU Game Center Playtest Thursdays, which were amazing, and meeting a bunch of new people. Going to all these venues has been awesome for not only like expanding the community of gem blenders, but also for helping me learn how to talk about the game. Again, I am a first-time project creator, so I really have no experience with this whole world, and it's really cool to learn about it. And it's been really exciting to meet other game developers, learn about their experiences and how that can help me make gem blenders a success, hopefully. During this period, I really ramped up the social media activity of the game. I made a Discord so the community can kind of have a place to gather and talk about card effects, what works, what doesn't work. And one of my friends that I met at the NYU Game Center, Gavin, he introduced me to Cockatrice, which is a fantastic resource for testing these types of games. A lot of Magic players use it to like test decks because they have like access to all the cards. And it was great because I was able to upload the full set of the Gem Blenders cards. People can build their own deck, and we can game test fairly rapidly, and I can make updates to the cards really quickly based on those game tests. Once the last semester at NYU started to wind down, I started to plan summer activities, and that was a lot of conventions. I went to Gen Con with my friend Sam. Sam has been an amazing partner throughout all of this. Not only is he always there to game test and talk through balancing, but I'm really able to talk to him about anything that I'm doing with the Kickstarter campaign as far as outreach to people, and he's always there for me to bounce ideas off him. And thank you so much to Sam for being an incredible partner throughout all of this. But yeah, we had a great time at Gen Con. We were able to get a huge amount of feedback from a variety of really talented game testers who had familiarity with a variety of other card games. I also went to Play NYC later in the month here in New York. It was great to be around a whole bunch of other indie game developers, learning about their experiences and what they're doing. Play NYC is really interesting because there's not only tabletop gamers like at Gen Con, but there's also video gamers, so I got to see like a whole other side of the industry, which was really neat. And there's a lot of cool people making indie video games as well. So after about 8 months of showing gem blenders across New York City and at various venues, it feels like it's really getting to that time where it's ready for Kickstarter. So I'm planning the Kickstarter to be in early November. I think that's going to give me a solid 2+ months from now to figure out how to best reach out to reviewers, how to market the campaign successfully. Right now I'm in the process of shooting the Kickstarter video. I'm reaching out to a bunch of friends to help me gather footage and make the game look as good as possible, because really the Kickstarter page is what the campaign's all about. That's the center of it. If people watch the Kickstarter video and are bored, or if they don't like the way the game looks, if it looks boring to them, they're not going to want to back the project. So I'm right now really focused on putting together the most perfect campaign possible. I know this is not always going to be feasible. This is my first project. I'm learning a lot about the process as this is going. Starting this September, I'm going to be back at the NYU Playtest Thursdays. So if you're in New York City, make sure to stop by there if you're able to. I'm sure I'll also be at other venues around the city, so really check into the social media. And you can always contact me if you want to check out the game. I'm happy to show you one-on-one or with a group. Would be awesome. So yeah, leave me a message, put a comment below, check out the social media, join the Discord. There's a lot of options. Thanks so much for watching. That's all I have for today. Hopefully that gave you a good idea of where Gem Blenders is at as far as getting it on Kickstarter. And yeah, see you next time.